Alright, finally, after a month of Sundays, or more, give or take a few, the Corvette is on the road. Let me tell you what happened with this smoking thing. So, after I got done with the head gaskets, got everything back together, I started it up, it ran for a while, everything was good, and all of a sudden it just started pouring out white smoke again. I was like, that cannot happen. I just put head gaskets on it. There's no way I messed it up. Or did I? So, anyway, so I go out and I get one of these combustion tests. I do a combustion test in the radiator fluid where it checks for combustion gases, turns up negative. I do a pressure test for the coolant system. It's fine, it's holding pressure, nothing's getting out. So I do a leak down test. The leak down test comes out good, but it's still, when you start it up, it's smoking white out the tailpipe like the head gaskets are blown. Mind blown. Didn't know what to do. So I thought, well, it's kind of island rough too. I'll check for vacuum leaks, right? And so I'm spraying the stuff around the intake, right? And then all of a sudden, I got a fire in the car. I did not get it on camera. I wish I would have. It's on fire on the passenger side. I'm trying to take a towel and put it out, and I'm like, why did it catch on fire? Why? Because rats chewed the wires that go to the fuel injectors. So when I sprayed the stuff on it, they shorted out, they sparked, poof, there it is. So I'm still trying to figure out how to, I got the fire out, didn't hurt anything. I rewired all those. So then I got to looking around, I saw one guy on an obscure Corvette forum that said he had an injector go out and it was dumping fuel constantly into the system, and it would come out and it would smoke just like it had a bad head gasket. I'm like, that has to be it. So I ordered a new set of injectors from Evil Bay. I got them, I installed them. After a little bit of wiring issues and stuff like that, started up. It smoked at first, and then it cleared up. And lo and behold, that's exactly what it was. A bad injector, now fixed, running like new, almost. So after driving it around a lot, back and forth, trips, gas in it, stuff like that, it had a stumble like something was wrong in the ignition system or something like that. But I changed everything. I changed the MAF sensor, the auto air control, plugs, wires, distributor cap, rotor, all of that was brand new. But it was still stumble. So I got a can of that catalytic converter stuff and I put it in the gas tank and I ran about 50, 60 miles and it started running really good, but it still had a tiny stumble. So I got to thinking, okay, so I had head gaskets go out, right, that were dumping water in the cats. And then I had a fuel injector that was just dumping fuel in the cats. And I'm like, the cats are 30 years old. I bet you the cats are bad after all that raw fuel and water smoke and all that stuff coming through them. And I also noticed a lot of heat coming from the floorboard for the main cat. It's just like, that shouldn't be getting that hot. I know it's hot in Arizona, but man, you can feel it coming up. Never saw them glowing red or anything like that. So what I'm going to do today is I got a treat for the car. Check this out. This is 2.5 inch Y-pipe front cat delete for the C4. So we're going to put that in, and I'm going to check the catalytic converter under there. I'm going to show you how to check that to see if it's bad with just a flashlight, and if it is bad, we're going to clean it out. So that's the project today. Oh, and I also have a special treat for the mufflers. Look at that. Wood. Yep, mini glass packs. I'm going to get rid of those 32-year-old stock mufflers, and I'm gonna try these out. We'll see how that goes. I love the sound of the full glass packs. I don't know how these are gonna sound, but I've seen a lot of people do the exhaust delete on the C4, and it sounds pretty good, except there's a droning in the car when you're going about 20 to 40 miles an hour. It's really loud, and you can't have a conversation in the car, is what I'm told. So I'm hoping that these provide just enough resonance control and give it a little bit of that pop, 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 pop when you fire it up, you know, rev it up really high. And it'll get rid of that droning. That's what I'm hoping. We're going to find out. We'll try them out. So, big project today. I got to get this thing up on the jack stands up in the sky, high enough so I can get under it with my creeper. We got to take the X brace off underneath the car. That's what the convertibles had because they don't have a top. Take that X brace off so we can get to everything and start unbolting the whole exhaust system basically. Should be fun. Alright, now we got some room under here. You got to be careful where you put these jack stands, fellas. The jacking location is always marked. But if you put your jack there, then where do you put your jack stands, right? Because you can't get them in the same place. So I put my jack right here, and I followed this seam to right here, so it'll be out of my way because I got to take this off. This seam right here is a structural point all the way down the body, so you're okay putting them right here. So I did that on both sides here, and then on the back ones I just put them where the jacking points were. You got to be careful though to make sure that your particular jack stands you're using don't mash your lines right here, fuel lines. Got a return line and a feed line that go right here. So if certain type of jack stands might mash those when you put them right here, so be careful with that. You can see right here somebody tried to jack under the floor. That's not a good place to jack, as you can tell, because it just collapses. Somebody did the same thing right here on this one. Their jack hung over, they got it under here, trying to jack on the fiberglass. That'll jack it up, alright. Not in a good way. Alright, so the first thing I got to do is take this X brace off. You see it? It's all in the way, can't get up in there to work. They put these on the convertibles because they don't have a top to keep the body rigid, so this helps. So basically it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 14 or 15 millimeter bolts, I don't know which, one of the two, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got about 16 bolts I'm gonna whiz out of there with the automatic removal tool, and pull this thing out of the way, put some gloves on so I don't get my hands dirty, because that's got some fluid on it. Looks like the transmission fluid is leaking. Yep. Might have to rebuild on that. You know, tighten it up. I don't know. Might have to do a service while I'm down here. I don't know. But anyway, I'm excited to get these out. These look like original equipment. They're probably bad. And I want to see that one right there, if I can see through it with a flashlight. If I can't, I know that's a problem too, and that's why my car's not been running right. It's almost running right. It's really responsive, but then you get to that idle and it's ooh, bah, boo, bah, boo, just a little bit of stumble that the untrained ear wouldn't be able to hear. But I can hear it, and I want it to. It should be running smooth, so that's what we're doing. I'm gonna get this thing down, quit yapping, and get to work. X marks the spot. Yep, we got her out. Had a few more bolts than I thought. You had the 16, then you had a couple here and a couple there. So 20. Looks like there were 20. Yep. And there's some spacers that go into the back. I'll show you when I put it back together here. But now we got plenty of room to get to the real deal, which is the pipes and the cats. Right there. Yep. Back there. And all the way out the back, because we're going to cut them old stock mufflers off. Put our glass packs in there. So it can pop, 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 pop. Right? Okay. So yeah. I'm going to get some PB Blaster. Go ahead and spray all these bolts that I'm going to have to take off. The front ones should be fine, the ones that bolt up to the manifolds, because I just put those back in when I did the head gaskets. So they should come out just fine. These other ones, meh. Probably not so much. Hopefully I don't have to cut them off. Stuff like that. But they're coming out one way or the other. They do not have a choice. That's right. Violence and force always wins. I mean, I could love it right off, but probably take a long time. Yep, so I ain't gonna do that. Oh, look at my motorcycle. He looks so lonely. I need to take him out for a spin. Yep, my wife does too. Hers is sitting right there. She hadn't rode it in a bit. We should ride. It's getting nice weather. Alright, now the next thing I need to do before I start taking the exhaust hangers down, or what holds it up there, I got to get this tube. This air tube is attached. I don't know if it's in focus or not. Right there, yeah. See that? There's a bolt somewhere. Well, there it is. That bolt right there has got to come out, and then I can take this air pipe that's attached to it right there off of it. And also there's a clamp over here that joins the air pipe to the catalytic converter, and this one right here, and that's just squoozing on there, or squeezed. so I'm gonna use a screwdriver to separate that, where I can slide it over, and then this will come off. Then I can start taking all the bolts off, starting with the manifold up front, the two sides of the manifolds, and just work my way back and take this whole exhaust off. So I'm excited to see what this thing looks like, because I bet you it's clogged. I'd almost bet my right arm on it, but I'm going to need my right arm to finish this job, so I don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. This is not so much a how-to video, it's just a what you're going to encounter video, and some tips along the way, and also the before and after. So we'll get a good sound and performance test and all of that. So there we go. Alright, so there's the back half of the exhaust. Yeah, looks pretty stock. It does say Dynamax though. I don't think that's the original mufflers. Could be wrong, but I'm not sure. We'll find out though. Doesn't matter though, because we're going to cut them off and put glass packs on them. The glass packs will come out there, and then I'll have to come up with some tailpipes. I ordered some new tips, just a single one. We'll see how those look. Anyway, look what I found over here, fellas. Here's the catalytic converter. It's got a small problem though. Yeah, that's the front of it right there. That's the front. And the precats, these are pieces of the precats. Yep. They couldn't hold it together, so they just fell apart. Yep. What I thought. I knew I had something going on in there, because the way it's running, with everything I've changed, it should run smooth as silk. But I was still getting some weird stuff out of it. And this is why. Right there. Ooh. That wasn't just a little bit, guys. I should have dumped that in the trash, I guess. I'm gonna find out if this thing's even any good. Yeah, I can kind of see through it. Not very much though. Alright, so when you hold a flashlight to the other end, you should be able to see plenty of light through it. So let's see what we got. I can barely see light. So this thing ain't no good either. The main cat's bad too. So we'll go ahead and rebuild on that with a hammer and chisel and long screwdriver. And we'll put that back in and she'll work perfect. So before I put the brand new rebuilt one on, I want to show you what inside of a bad catalytic converter looks like. Looks just like that. Yep. That one ain't no good. It's got a few problems. But the brand new rebuilt one, it's going to work perfect. So when I pulled off the tailpipes, it looks to me like these mufflers have been changed. Dynamax. That is not the original. Does not look like. Because Dynamax is an aftermarket muffler. So before I go to cutting and welding those glass packs in, now that I got all the other pipes in, I think I'm going to put these back on and see how it sounds, just like it is. Let me show you what I got going right now. Because I got everything up underneath. I got the new Y pipe on. It's 0.25 bigger than the original pipes, and obviously it doesn't have the cats. The cats are gone, the two front ones. I put the cat back in over here, rebuilt. Yeah, gutted out, more like it. So let me show you what I got. So I got the cat all cleaned out. I gotta attach this air hose, if you can see that somewhere. There it is. That little ring's giving me a heck of a problem trying to make it work, but everything else is bolted up. Got my O2 sensor back on there. I broke a stud over here. Can't see it because I don't have any light, but it was long enough that when I got the other two on there, I was able to get a bolt back on it and get it tight, so I didn't have to change that, because taking those exhaust manifolds off is a pain in the butt to change the stud. So it looks like it's going to work pretty good. These pipes are a lot bigger and they don't have the front cats. They just got the main cat back here. So I'm going to go ahead and try and finagle this clamp back on right here to hold this pipe on. Then I'm going to go ahead and put the original mufflers back on, the Dynamax, and see how it sounds. So once I get that finagled back on and get the rear pipes hooked back up, we'll start it up, see how it sounds. So here's the car with the cats gutted, two fronts removed, the main one gutted, and the Dynamax mufflers that were on it back on it. Alright, I got it all buttoned up with the new pipes. They're 2.5s and front cat delete. Got them all tight. Oxygen sensors in. There's the other one. And comes back. Get over here to the rebuilt catalytic converter. Yep. Fit right on there really good. And then I even got that air clamp back on for the air pipe that comes back from the front, and got it all bolted up here. Then back here is where all the magic happened. Yeah, it wasn't really magic, it's just called welding, which I'm not great at. But so I cut off the pipes here, welded on a pipe here, then welded the new mini cherry bombs and another pipe here. Then I put some cool looking exhaust tips, and I also took a piece of metal right here that was from one of the exhaust hangers, you know, the ones that have holes in them, and I cut it and welded it to the top of the exhaust pipe right there. So then I can use the original hangers. I just put a bolt in there and it's right on the original hangers. So that was cool. Yeah, my welding ain't pretty, but she ain't going nowhere, and I shouldn't have any leaks. I mean, it don't have to be pretty under the car. And I almost got these lined up almost perfect, but I don't deal in perfect. I deal in close enough. Besides that, you don't know how much of a pain that was. So that one's off like 1/4 of an inch. One of them's higher than the other, just a tad. And also I couldn't bring them straight out because of the angle of this without getting another 90 and cutting it off way down here and re-welding all that. And I basically just took some pipe that I had laying around, cut this one over here. I actually had to weld a gap, and that was fun because it keeps blowing through when you do that. But I just kept grinding and kept welding and finally got her closed up. And I did notice one thing now. When I had the other mufflers on with the front cats, it felt like I had a stumble when it was idling. Well, now you can hear what that stumble is. It's a straight on backfire. So now I suspect that when I tightened up the valves and adjusted them to begin with, I got one of them too tight and it's hanging open just a little bit. So I'm gonna have to perform the old dreaded remove the valve covers from the C4 Corvette job and adjust them all as it's running to make sure that's not my problem. Everything else in the ignition is new, except for the little module that goes down inside of the distributor cap. And I read those don't go bad very much. The one in the bottom, I forget what it's called. But I guess I could change it first, but I don't really know. We'll have to see what happens. Okay, so you can hear the popping right now. I couldn't hear that with the other mufflers on it when the stopped up cats. Now that it's pretty much straight through, you can hear it. So I'm pretty sure, since it sounds like a burnt valve, and I did a valve job on it, that one of the rocker arms is too tight, holding the valve open, so it's popping. So I'm going to rev it up a little. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put the brace on it, drive it for a bit and see if that stops. And if not, I'll be pulling the valve covers. Yay. Yep, so I got her off finally. They don't make this easy, I'll tell you that. Got a coolant line right here that's in the way. Your plug wires are in the way. That's the easy part. Then up here, this bracket for the AC right in the way. So I didn't take it all the way off. I loosened it up enough, just enough to get the valve cover out. So I had to tilt this AC bracket down by the AC compressor down by taking all the bolts out, leaving one on the bottom. Loosened a whole bunch of other stuff in there. Took the serpentine belt off. And I got it out and I got them adjusted, and she's idling smooth as butter. So now I got to try and get this back in here. I don't want to take these wires loose if I don't have to. But I also don't want it to leak, so I want to make sure I get it in there right, because I only want to do this once. So that's where we're at. I'm going to see if I can just put her back on. And when I pulled the other one off, it stretched the rubber valve cover gasket, so I had to go get a new one of those. But yeah, she's idling smooth now, just like she's supposed to. So one of these, I'm pretty sure it was this one. I adjusted them all, but that one was tight. Basically, you just start it up, have it running, loosen them until you hear them clacking, make them stop clacking, and then just go like a quarter of a turn. And that's what I did with all of them. And you can actually hear the engine change idle when you get it too loose. It'll go down some, and then you bring it back, and you also hear the tit-tit-tit-tit-tit. So you just go a little bit and get rid of that, and then go a quarter turn and call it a day. And that's what I did. So she sounds pretty good now. Now I just got the daunting task of getting all this back together. Yay me. But then it'll be ride time, and that's the payoff. Alright, so I got rid of the popping. It happened to be one of the valves was too tight on the passenger side. Man, was that a bear. Now she idles smooth. So those mini glass packs sound pretty cool. As far as droning inside the car, I can't really tell because I got the top down. It is a little louder, but I like the sound of the engine, so I'm not worried about that. I really like it. You can still hold a conversation and hear the music, so must not be too bad.